Welcome to Debbie's Grow, where we talk about issues that concern the state, void of politics, fear of favor. The Ghana Education Service has halted payment of salary to a teacher at Bole Senior High School accused of inappropriate sexual conduct involving a student in a science laboratory following his failure to report to duty after the incident. According to the service, the teacher has since absconded, prompting immediate administrative action, including the suspension of his salary and a formal report to the Ghana Police Service for his arrest and further investigation. Speaking to the media, the Director General of GES, Professor Ernest Kofi Davis, said the service is working closely with security agencies to ensure the teacher is apprehended and made to face both criminal proceedings and internal disciplinary processes. He explained that Ghana Education Service had already interdicted the teacher before taking the further step of stopping his salary, stressing that the move was necessary due to his disappearance from duty. Professor Davis cautioned that the service will apply the strictest sanctions available under its code of conduct, terminating alleged misbehavior as unacceptable and harmful to the safety of students. So this is a directive from the Ghana Education Service. Some time back, we saw a video, a disturbing video of that sort from Bole Senior High School, where a teacher was having an affair with a student in a science lab. And so GES is saying that his salary has been halted for this month. And that is because after the video popped up, the teacher refused reporting to school or reporting to work. And so the GES have gone ahead to taking a step, and that is to halt his salary. Now, my problem is students are being sent to school under the guidance of their teachers. For your whole life, I think you spend 99% of your life in school. When you come home, you only spend 24 hours of your life in the house when it's weekdays or when the school is on vacation, and then you're being given the holiday or a free period to stay home for say 3 weeks or maybe 1 month. That is when you can boldly say, well, you spend part of your life in the house. But then I can boldly tell you that 99% of your life is being spent in school. And that is similar thing associated when you're done with school and you're working. You spend 99% of your whole life at the workplace, and then you spend like 10% in the house. So if a student is being sent to a school, and then a teacher was supposed to guide the student, protect the student, teach the student the right thing to do, and they are rather doing the opposite of what they're supposed to do, then it means that our students are not safe in the schools. It means they are not safe. And I will tell you that a lot of teachers are doing this in the schools. A lot of them are doing it. And it's because their videos are not out. It's because they are not caught. And so it looks as if everything is normal. But a lot of them are taking advantage of the student. I wouldn't downplay the fact that some of the students have prepared themselves. We have students that do not go to school to study. A lot of them, they are not there to study. They are there for their, I don't know, but they have their own reasons. They are not there to study. Because if you are there to study and then you are determined to become a great person or a great figure in the future, and a teacher wants to take advantage of you, I think you have the sole right to report that teacher to your parent, to the authority, or to the security agency. And that is why we have them. That is their role. That is their mandate. And so when you go to the schools, they teach you how to be bold. They teach you how to speak out. If your right is being infringed on, they tell you that you need to speak out. If you don't speak out, how will they know that something of this sort is ongoing? And this is not the first time something like this is happening. There have been a lot of videos, a lot of sexual videos from schools. Teachers having an sexual affairs with the student. A student who was sent to school to study. And get why upon site anka. You don't also quiet them. They sent you there to study. They didn't send you there to go and do otherwise. And most of these teachers have ulterior motives. So sometimes you ask yourself, why? Is it that they don't see their colleague teachers in the school there? Or because they feel like, well, their class is somehow like a bit, no teacher will level themselves like that. Because they also know what they want. But I feel like most of these students are naive. And so they will take advantage of that. So a lot of teachers are taking advantage. And if you're a student and you don't learn how to stick your buttocks to the chair and learn, that is how most of these teachers will take advantage of you. Every student that is good, every student that sticks their butt on the chair to study, you don't clash with teachers like that. And it's only students that, they know why they are there. They are not there because of the books. They are there for other reasons. And so they don't want to fail. And you see, the most serious aspect is that you sell yourself out for this teacher to promote you. But you've forgotten that when you go and write BEC, when you write WASI, it is not that teacher that is marking your paper. So you still need to study. You still need to learn. And I feel like GES needs to do more. That is not the first time. I remember some time back when a video like that popped out. I think one of the authorities said, if you know you're a teacher and you can't control yourself, better resign. And go and find yourself a different work to do. You are there to teach. You are not there to be chasing students like dog. No. GES will need to sit up, bring out strict penalties that teachers will face if they are being caught. So that it will serve as deterrent to other teachers. And you see, I think supervision and monitoring too is bad. It's very, very, very bad. And the problem is, even if you dedicate someone to supervise and monitor the schools, they end up taking something. And even if they don't take anything, whoever is supposed to give them the info, do not give them the right info. So they also end up reporting an info that is not correct. And when it happens like that, what are we doing? What generation are we nurturing? Are we nurturing a generation of prostitutes? Are we nurturing a generation that are so into sexual activities? Is that what we want? If that is what we want, then yes, 10 years or 20 years from now, we should be expecting more of these people. And please, the parents, they have a role to play. Our parents, please, you have a role to play as well. You don't leave your student to the teacher alone. You have a role to play. Most of the parents will behave as if they are lions. It is your child. Let them feel comfortable with you. There should be a cordial relationship between a parent and their wards, so that when they are going through something, they can voice it out. But if you behave as if you are a parent and you're behaving as if you are a lion, your child cannot even speak to you. Anytime he or she comes on, you frown, you are sitting down. You don't talk to the child. You don't even care. You don't even care about anything. You don't ask, say, how is school? What is going on? What are your challenges? Most parents fail to do this. They don't do it. And so these kids tend to find solace from their colleagues in the same age group. An adolescent finding solace from an adolescent. They will definitely tell you otherwise. Because at that stage, whatever they see with their eyes is right. But you as a parent, you know that at that stage, it's a critical stage. One man on side there is either the said word, spare the rod to spoil the child. If you don't train the child with an iron hand, he or she will end up being a burden to you. If that child is going to be a burden to you alone, I think we wouldn't even sit here discussing this. But the child is going to be a burden to you, a burden to the society, in fact, a burden to everybody. If that child becomes an armed robber, you will suffer, I will suffer, the nation will suffer. If that child becomes a prostitute, there is another wahala. So, parents, please, we are begging, we are pleading. If you go to the schools and then you talk to some of these students, you realize that most of them do not have, they don't have cordial relationship. You cannot even sit with your dad and you cannot even sit with your mom and discuss like friends. And you was that. And so even if something is wrong with you, you cannot voice it out. You rather tell your colleague who is also naive as you are. And then they'll end up manipulating you and destroying you. But imagine you have parents that are calm, they listen to you. What are your challenges? Even if they don't have the means, they're trying their possible best to ensure that you are in safe hands. Please, African parents, they need to learn this because it's very, very serious. It's very, very needed. You need to have a cordial relationship with your own child. So that if something of that sort is happening in the school or a teacher try taking advantage, the first person to call is the dad. The first person to call is the mom. Not the colleague, not in the word dumb who is already manipulated. No. So please, the parent has a role to play. The government has a role to play. GES, you have a role to play. The teachers themselves have a role to play. If you know you cannot control yourself, please, better find a profession to suit your nature. You are there to teach, not to be following students around. Science lab, is it a sexual lab? Science lab is a lab where you teach, you practically teach students. You mix chemicals. You are mixing chemicals, not mixing something else. So please, we are begging you, GES, stricter penalty. That is what we are calling for. Thank you for making time with me on the Girl.